Wow, that was quick. Honestly, I can't believe school went by this quickly. And I know what I'm doing with my mic right now may seem a little odd, but I wanted to do something candid. You know, I used to do this candid convos, and I'll be honest, I didn't want to really set up the mic on the table. I got a little bit of moving going on. You know, I have a little bit of things in my apartment that are not in the normal sense. So this makes it even more usual that I have is different, all right? That just is what it is. By the way, I'm drinking tea. Tea's good. Chamomile. Not bad. Shout out to my mom. So I've been saying to my classmates the last few weeks, I've spent half a decade in college. That's crazy. And I know it's funny, and I know it's goofy that I'm wording it like that, but I have spent half a decade doing this. Going to school, doing classes, getting grades, being assessed, and now I'm done. Hooray! Like the sound effect. Maybe I'll put it in the middle. But, you know, it really was something that I wanted to make a video essay to myself, right? This is for myself as well as for the viewers to try to get a little bit of what can I learn from this experience. You know, there's somebody on YouTube telling me about their 5-year college experience, and this would be something that's nice, I think, for me personally, for closure, as well as helping someone in the future say, hey, if I'm going into college, this is something that I wish I knew. I know I made a video, like a vlog, right? But this is a little bit more broken down or not broken down, stripped down version of that vlog, right? I'm making this video and knowing that this could be great closure for me and that you'll find value in it. Long version, short. Sorry, I know this is a candid convo, but I don't want to make that mean I can't be concise. First and foremost, by the way, I have notes here. Sorry for glancing away. It flies by. College, it's going to be over before you know it. If you're a freshman right now, or you're about to become a freshman, you know, you just signed, I was going to say signed, you just accepted going to a certain university and you're going to go there. Before you know it, you're going to be in my position. And I know a million people have probably told you this already. Your parents or your friends have said, wow, it flies by quicker than high school did. It is without a doubt an immovable fact that college is quicker than anything you can ever imagine. I extended it by a year and it's still gone by quicker than I could have imagined. If I had one message to myself starting it out, it would be to make the most of every day, because 5 years goes by like this. I'm done with it already, and I think I made the most that I could of every day while I was in it. But there are some days maybe I could have done things differently. And I just want to tell my old self and those starting college, make the most of every day, because, man, Dimitri, you have no idea what it's going to be like in this position. You're going to have life moving forward. You're going to have a job. You're going to have to work 40 hours a week. And as much as you have this YouTube thing going for you in the future, I can't express to you how much you're going to miss that experience being with your friends in college. Because it's funny, a high school teacher of mine told me this a long time ago, but and my brother had the same high school teacher, right? She said this is the last time when you go into college that you are going to be in the same group as your peers until you go into a nursing home. Because when you go to a workplace, it's going to be people of all different ages. So it's different, that's for sure. My next thing would be focus on being consistent, right? So right now, I'd say I was consistent towards the end. I think I did a great job of being consistent in some physical stuff for me. Academically, maybe not as much. Outside of school, maybe not as much. You know, now I've been consistent the past year with YouTube and whatnot, but what I did outside of school and athletically, not really much, right? I've been in shape the whole time. I've ran a lot. School, the grades were always pretty good. But outside of it, I wasn't really consistent with, you know, maintaining friendships, doing different things. And I'd say to you, Dimitri, and to you, whoever else, future student, just be consistent in whatever you're doing. And be continuously great. And don't be afraid to be great. Because a lot, what is that quote from that kid in Coach Carter? Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. Sorry, random movie quote. But honestly, it is one of those things where, 5 years down the line, I'm thinking to myself, if I had been more consistent in some areas, maybe would things turn out differently? Yeah. Am I happy with, where my end of my career was? Yeah. I finished out with near a 4.0, and that's a big jump from what my undergraduate GPA was, right? To be quite frank, it wasn't awful, but it wasn't nearly as good as what it is now. And if I'd just been consistent the whole time, maybe that would have been higher. I know I'm not probably going to have any sort of negative life impact due to like how I made up for it with graduate school and whatnot, and my extracurriculars. But I think I would have been, I'd be remiss to say that I wouldn't want myself to have been more consistent, right? So just be more consistent, be as consistent as you can be, especially with like building those relationships. People are going to be in your life and they're going to want to be in your life, and let them be in your life. Don't be fearful of what may come your way in regards to people not being your friend or something like that. Just be confident that you being consistent is going to lead to the best things for you, and whether people go in and out of your life, that's just what it is. So, and that goes to anyone who's going to start college. There's going to be people who are not going to be your friends by the end of college, but being consistent with trying to maintain friendships is important, because you want to make those long-lasting relationships for when you then go into the workforce and you're not going to have that ability to make to be surrounded by people that are your peers. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And my next point would be, anything worth having is hard, man. I think going into college, you thought maybe college was going to be more difficult than it was, or less difficult in different ways, right? Maybe you thought the school part would be harder, but the making friends thing would be easier. Or you maybe thought, this could be anybody, by the way, not just me. You maybe thought that there's going to be a situation where you're going to not have time to hang out with people. However, you are going to have that time, and you got to make that choice as to whether you want to do that or sit in your room. You got to make that choice as to whether you want to go to that get together or sit in your room, or you want to make that decision to try hard in that athletic situation, or make it easy on yourself and don't. You're going to have things come up in college that are going to be difficult. This is a life lesson in general. Anything worth having is hard. I'm not exactly the biggest, I'm not exactly the most successful person in the world, right? I'm not saying I've pushed through more pain than anyone else, but I'm just saying it's a steadfast rule that you should live by, that you should know that anything worth having is hard. And there'll be times where you just don't want to push through these negative things that are going to come up throughout your career. But looking back on how you managed to overcome those things, those are some of my best memories, overcoming some negative things that have happened in my life in college and outside of college during those 5 years, right? Those are where a lot of the positives come from in life, getting through the negative. And I don't know if I knew that early on in high school or going into college, but that's definitely something I think anyone should learn before they go into it, right? So if you want to have a good experience, most good experiences that are long lasting and actually life impactful, not like, for example, just having a good night of hanging out or whatever, like that's a fun experience or whatever, but getting blackout drunk or something, which is actually something I never did in college, is not maybe the same as having some sort of difficult situation that you need to push through. And then at the end of the road, you're going to be happy, like, oh, wow, I managed to have this crazy study session that led me to getting a good grade on something. And then afterwards, I had some fun with my friends. And it was really hard, but at the end of the day, I had a great time. I had a great semester. I earned it. That's something I'd give advice for. Make sure you are willing to work through those hard things rather than just going, okay, I am going to kind of skate through. And when hard things come, I'm going to not give my best effort, because that's where regret ends up seeping in. And I don't have many of those in life, because I don't think anyone should have those. But if there's any place that they would come from, it's something like avoiding hard things. So another thing is actually going to be a topic on the podcast coming up. Don't glorify your struggle. You, Dimitri, don't have it that bad. You're in the top whatever percent, top few percent of fortunate people in the world. I'd say, you grew up in America. You grew up with a house over your head, food, more than enough amenities, right? You're going to a nice college. Just be happy with it, man. Don't worry about the day-to-day griping. I've talked about it with Chance a lot recently, and we actually just recorded the podcast 2 days before this. And people love to glorify their struggles, and people love to compare how hard their life is in comparison to other people's, and they like to go, oh wow, but this final was hard. Oh, mine, I studied till 3 a.m. I studied till 4 a.m. It's like, don't glorify your struggle. Don't go down that path of saying how hard your life is. Complain less, complain maybe to some of your deepest, closest friends about some issues you're having. I think it's okay to vent, right? Getting a therapist, just get a therapist or something. Honestly, if you really need someone to vent that hard to, where it's causing issues. If you're say you're internalizing things, that's not good. That's my suggestion to anyone watching. You get a therapist that you can talk things out with, rather than trying to glorify your struggle to validate how hard your life is. Your life ain't that hard, Dimitri. You're pretty okay. Sometimes you're going to have some rough weeks, but we all do. And learn how to take the struggles of college in stride and life in stride, and you're going to be much better for it, because those around you do care. However, they also would like to see you push through that, rather than, as we mentioned earlier, push through that rather than, kind of just let the negatives overwhelm you. And by not glorifying your struggle, I feel like you then push through what's negative in your life more easily. And moving on to something else, a little more positive here. Just make time for fun, man. And make time for fun that's meaningful, right? So make time for fun that'll cause memories. I have memories of some things. I played a fair amount of video games early on in college. I have some memories there, not nearly as many as I do now. I finally got away from that sort of stuff, and my memories are much larger. My memories are much more impactful. Once I got into the whole minimalism shtick, my whole life has gotten a little more impactful. Maybe it's recency bias or whatever, but I work really hard now, but now when I have time for fun, I make the time for it. And you need to remember that 100% of what you do, or you give 100% in what you do. And hopefully everyone here does as well. But that means you also need to give 100% towards fun. So don't get too workaholic about anything. Don't get too, just when I'm in the fun space, I'm in the fun space. When I'm in the not fun space, I'm in the not fun space. But that doesn't mean that, when you have a burnout session in your life, don't fall too hard into the not doing anything side of things, because just stop that. Just stop that and make yourself have fun, but also make yourself be a little bit more, I don't know what I'm trying to say, focused at the same time. It's this weird balance you got to find. Work hard, play hard. Shout out to my dad. Work hard, play hard, and you're going to find that the impact that you're going to have on your memories is going to be much more significant. Next, I'll say, and this is another parental piece of advice as well that I'm echoing, tell yourself that you're enough. A lot of people in college are going through some difficult things. I'd say there's this whole pressure to get through all of it. I think I heard a stat the other day, may have been, honestly, mentioned in the mom and dad here, but I think someone mentioned that 50% of, or a fair amount, not 50%, a fair amount of people don't graduate. Maybe 50% of college males. I'm actually not sure of the stat. This is more heard rather than factual, right? But a fair amount of college males so I'm a male, right? And a fair amount of college males don't finish. I can remember, honestly, a few off my floor from freshman year that didn't finish. And that just means if I've gotten this far, and as you get through each stage of university, you need to tell yourself that you're enough in life, right? And most people's biggest critic are themselves. And the fact that I finished and did pretty okay, I'm I got to know that that's okay. And that's, if I gave my best effort, I am enough. It doesn't matter if somebody was more naturally inclined to get better grades or naturally inclined to have an easier time getting those grades. If I gave myself my best effort, does it really matter? If someone was you can't, what are you going to not say that you're enough based on how someone else was born? That just shouldn't work like that. You may think, oh, if I really push and I really push, Okay, like most of the time, then you start pressing and then it turns into a negative thing. So tell yourself that you're enough. Because if you aren't someone else, you're 100% is all that matters, right? And that is just something that is an immovable fact. And even though I'm in the self-help space, I am fully aware of that, or at least fully trying to be aware of that personally, and fully willingly to say it on the internet for a video. I will take a sip of tea and get into the last 2 points. I feel like I'm one of my British podcast guests, because they usually have tea and I'm the one with coffee. If you're sad that it's over, that means it was good. I think maybe some people wouldn't originally think about this like that, but if someone says something like, oh, I'm sad it's over, I wish I could have done more. There's a little bit of you that's like that, but most of what you're feeling is actually, you're sad that it's over because you liked it. Not usually because you have regret. And for me, that's how I'm feeling, you know. I'm gonna go into the workforce soon, and I'm gonna have different people in my life than I had before, but I am a little bit sentimental about the last few weeks. You know, I've been sentimental about not having the ability to see people in the future soon, moving out of the apartment soon. Not seeing these people all the time is going to be difficult. I really enjoyed it. But the fact that I'm getting sentimental about it means it was good. And that's going to happen maybe even each year. When you go home, you can be like, oh, I'm kind of sad I won't see my roommates or my friends. And that's just what's going to happen. I think that the sadness you feel at the end of the day is good, because sometimes we need to be sad, and we can let that sadness out by just expressing it in whatever way we feel healthy, and then focusing on my last point, which is the next chapter is going to be great. Dimitri, I'm telling this to myself, it's funny. Dimitri, the next chapter is going to be great. You may be sad that this door is closing, but another one is immediately opening, and you're going to have a lot of fun in that next part of your life. You're going to start doing things a little bit more independently, just because job and growing up and whatever. It's crazy to think about, man. You got a job-based life coming up, and that's awesome. Like, don't be anything but happy about the fact that you won the college game and you did everything you could. And that's the message I want to send to every single person. That's not just me. So I'm switching it from talking to me once again to talking to everyone else. Get to the point where you're so happy, or just that you end up being sad about it, and then get happy again when you realize you won the college game, and the next chapter is going to be awesome because you put yourself in the position to have an awesome future. And a lot of you guys watching this at the beginning of your college careers, I just say this: if you just stick it out, you'll be good. You'll be okay. A lot of people like to glorify how bad it is to get a job out of college right now. You know, it is a very real issue. I'm just saying, if you kind of follow maybe some of these steps, some of the other steps I've given on this channel, you'll make it work for yourself. Believe me, you will make it work for you. You will get to the point where you are going to be happy when you're done with college, and in one way, and sad that it's over in another. Not sad because you didn't do as much as you should have, but sad because it's over, because it was so great while you're doing it. So that being said, that was one of the more candid videos I've ever made. I had points on the side, but a lot of that was off the cuff and just feeling. I've been trying to do more fact-based videos recently. I feel like this was a mix of my emotions and fact. I think I needed this for myself a little bit, you know. I put myself a lot out there on the internet, and at the end of this road, I needed to close the chapter for me, and hopefully it also helped you as well. That being said, guys, thank you so much for listening to me, watching me, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.